Most 9mm lists are boring. Same guns, same names, same save picks that everyone pretends are still exciting. Not here though, because this isn't another copy-paste list of the same Glock, Sig, best 9mm of the year garbage you've heard 100 times already. These are the 9mm pistols in 2025 that straight up slapped me in the face and shut me up. And let me be clear, I don't impress easy. I've shot duty guns, I've shot custom race guns, I've even shot budget trash that should have been banned. So when a pistol makes me stop, look twice, and mutter what the hell just happened, you better believe it earned a spot right here. Some of these guns are brand new monsters that came out swinging, others are forgotten weirdos crawling back from the dead. And a couple, I roasted them for years until they embarrassed me on the range and made me eat my own words. But here's the kicker. The final pistol on this list is so insane, so unexpected, that I had to double check it if it was even real. Stick around, because you're not ready for what's coming up. I was at a defensive pistol course not long ago, and everyone brought the usual suspects. Glock 19s, M&Ps, a couple of Sig P320s. Safe, predictable guns. Then this one guy unpacks a Canik Rival. A whole line of shooters starts chuckling. Bright slide cuts, oversized magwell, straight down like some esports controller. Nobody said it out loud, but you could see it on their faces. That thing's not gonna last a day out here. But by lunch, the room was quiet. This guy was running circles around half the class. His transitions were faster, his double taps were cleaner, and his split times were flat out embarrassing some of the guys with $1,000 setups. We actually stopped a drill just to check what ammo he was running because it looked like he had recoil turned off. That's when I swapped with him. And here's the part I hated. The gun wasn't carrying him, it was carrying me. Trigger broke like glass, reset popped instantly, and the Rival-S steel frame shot flatter than anything I'd touched in that price range. So yep, the Rival didn't just keep up, it straight up embarrassed the big dogs, and I walked away pissed because the gamer toy everyone laughed at ended up running the whole damn show. And that's just the opener. The next one, it didn't just surprise me, it straight up humiliated a diehard Glock guy right in front of me. You'll want to see that. If you think Glock owns the full-size pistol game, the Walther PDP Full-Size is the gun that'll punch that belief right in the throat. And the crazy part? It doesn't just match Glock, it makes loyalists question if they've been carrying the wrong gun all along. I was running a timed drill one weekend with a buddy of mine who lives and dies by his Glock 17. You know the type. Glock this, Glock that, nothing else even comes close. I brought along a PDP Full-Size just to see if the hype was real. He was already grinning, ready to roast me for bringing what he called the off-brand Glock. The drill was simple. Draw, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, repeat. His Glock ran fine. Then I ran it with the PDP. Quicker splits. Then I ran it with the PDP. Quicker splits, tighter groups, recoiled so flat it almost felt like cheating. He stopped the timer, looked at me, and said, "Run that again." We swapped, and here's where it flipped. He actually shot better with my Walther than with his own Glock. Trigger wall was cleaner, reset popped faster, and the weight kept the dot glued on target. When I told him I paid around $600, less than what he'd sunk into his Glock with upgrades, he went quiet. And that's the beauty of the PDP. It didn't impress me, it straight up humiliated a diehard Glock guy with his own gun sitting right there. And trust me, if you think that stunk, wait till you see the pistol that humiliated me at a local match. That one still burns. The CZ Shadow 2 carry is the dumbest idea that somehow worked. Who the hell looked at a giant competition pistol and thought, yeah, let's shrink it a little and call it a carry gun? That's like turning a race car into a grocery getter. Makes no sense. So I'm at a local match with my Glock 34, feeling cocky, and this guy shows up with the Shadow 2 carry. Everyone smirked, and even I tossed in a jab. Nice carry piece, bro. You hauling that in a backpack? But then the buzzer went off, and he smoked us. His splits were laser fast, recoil basically gone, dot just hovering there like it was on strings. Meanwhile, I'm over there manhandling my Glock like I'm trying to break a horse. By stage 3, people weren't laughing anymore. By stage 5, I was just pissed. I finally asked to run it, and here's the part that burned. I shot better with this damn Shadow 2 carry than with the Glock I'd poured my hard-earned money into. Trigger felt like it was wired straight to my brain, recoil was a joke, and the grips made me look like I'd been lying about my skills. He told me it cost him about $1,000. I nearly packed up and went home because the stupid idea pistol just proved my so-called serious gun was the joke. The last time I trusted a Taurus, it was the G3C, and it nearly gave me depression. Constant jams, mystery failures. It felt like I was dragging a sick dot to the vet every time I took it out. I swore off Taurus after that. Told myself, never again. Anytime someone mentioned them, I'd laugh and say, if you want to hate life, get a G3C. So when my Uncle Naughty slid a Taurus G3XL across a bench and said, try this one, my boy Steve. Try this one, my boy Steve. I thought he was messing with me, not because he's naughty, but because he's the hardcore Taurus fan I'm not. No thanks, I already did my time with Taurus, but he wouldn't stop grinning until I loaded it up. One mag, then another, then another. And here's where it got weird. It just worked. No jams, no hiccups, nothing. Steel case, hollow points, reloads. It ran everything like it was born for revenge. Meanwhile, Uncle Naughty's buddy with a Glock 43X had to stop and clear malfunctions on the same ammo. What stunned me wasn't just the reliability, it was how easy it shot. The longer slide gave me sight radius I actually trusted, recoil settled quick, and I realized this was the gun the G3C was supposed to be. Under $400 from Taurus, from Uncle Naughty, and I hated it because this cockroach of a gun actually crawled its way onto my list. If you think that's crazy, stick around because the next gun straight up made me cheat on my carry lineup. And I hated it for that. There's nothing worse than a gun that makes you cheat on your carry lineup. You think you're loyal, you think you've got your setup locked in, and then one sneaks in and wrecks the whole thing. That's exactly what happened here. I'd been running a Glock 43X and a Hellcat Pro in rotation for a while. Solid, reliable, predictable. Then I picked up the so-called micro pistol just to see what all the hype was about. Everyone was screaming it was the future of concealed carry, and I wanted to prove them wrong. But the first time I took it through a low-light drill with a buddy, I realized I was in trouble. He's over there fumbling reloads, and I'm still running mags with 16 rounds stuffed in the slim frame. Recoil felt like a bigger gun, dot just sat there, and my grip stacked tighter than they had any right to be. He stopped mid-drill and said, that thing's cheating. That thing was the Sig P365 XMacro, and from that day onwards, it never left my belt. I didn't plan to trust it, I didn't even want to like it, but it stabbed my carry lineup in the back and stole the top spot anyway, and I still hate the damn thing for it. There's always that guy who shows up with the brand new toy everyone expects to fail. At one of my range days, that toy was the Springfield Echelon. Most of us were running safe choices like M&P9s, CZ P10s, a couple of older Springfields, duty pistols that get the job done. Then this dude lays an Echelon on the bench and you could already hear the chuckles. Springfield's just chasing the new trend, somebody muttered. Then the timer started. Reloads were faster. The optics cut sat flush without a stack of goofy adapter plates, and the way that modular chassis system fit into the frame, it made the rest of our pistols feel like they'd come out of a time capsule. He wasn't just keeping up, he was running drills smoother than guys with pistols that they'd spent years tuning. When I finally ran it myself, that's when the joke ended. The recoil impulse was balanced, the trigger wall was cleaner than it had any right to be, and transitions just worked. It didn't feel like Springfield had copied anyone. It felt like they'd quietly leapfrogged half the market. And here's the kicker, under $1,000. A sub $1,000 pistol doing things that guys are paying double for. The Echelon didn't just show up, it walked in, slapped the safe bets in the mouth, and made us all look outdated. And just when I thought the list couldn't get weirder, along comes another CZ, and yep, it pissed me off in a way I didn't see coming. Another CZ? Yeah, I know. After the Shadow 2 circus, you would think that we'd had enough of them, but along comes the P10C, and this budget striker from CZ ended up teaching me a lesson I didn't want to learn. One of the local deputies I shoot with carries a P10C as his off-duty gun. I gave him hell for it. Why not stick with your duty Glock or at least an M&P? He just smirked and said, shoot it. So I did during a qualification refresher where everyone else was running their standard issue M&Ps. And here's the twist. His groups were tighter, his transitions were faster, and when I finally took a run with it myself, I realized the damn thing pointed better than most striker-fired guns that I'd handled. Grip angle felt natural, trigger snapped instead of squished, and recoil impulse smooth. Not flashy, not race gun flat, but balanced in a way that it just worked. The kicker? He paid under $500 for it, half the price of guns sitting in the same holsters, and he was out shooting them. I watched guys with guns worth double fumble through drills, while this budget knockoff made me look stupid. The P10C isn't the sexy CZ, it isn't the legend, but it's the scrappy one that rolled in cheap, slapped the serious guns across the face, and left them looking lazy. I've carried an M&P before, Shield Plus, a good gun, dependable, but nothing that kept me awake at night. It was like a pair of work boots. Gets the job done, no one brags about them. So when I heard Smith & Wesson drop the 2.0 in a full metal frame, I rolled my eyes. Great, they painted the boots, I said. Then a buddy of mine showed up with one during a training weekend. Same shape, same controls, but the first time I picked it up, it hit different. Heavier, solid in the hands. I didn't think much of it until we started running longer strings. The difference slapped me quick. My old polymer M&P always had this little wiggle. Not bad, just enough to know we were looking. This metal frame killed it. Gun stayed flat, sights tracked smooth, and suddenly the M&P wasn't the quiet work boot anymore. It was stomping like a steel toe. We burned through a couple of hundred rounds, and by the end, I wasn't thinking about my Glock or my Sig or whatever else was in the bag. I was thinking, damn, this is what the M&P should have been the whole time. Price? Around $900. Not cheap, but not crazy either. For a gun that turned boring but solid into a tank, that hit me harder than I wanted to admit. Alright, we're down to the final two, and if you think you know who's number one, you're probably wrong. If you ever doubt a Glock 17, just look at the one rotting in the rental case at your local range. You'll spot it right away. Slide worn to bare metal, grip polished slick like it's been sanded by 1,000 greasy palms, mags looking like they've been run over by a damn tractor. That thing's the village bicycle of pistols. Everyone's had a turn. I watched one of those junkyard dogs in action. Some newbie rents it, limp wristing so hard I thought the slide was gonna slap him in the face. But the gun didn't care. Kept chugging like a sewing machine, then some old timer dumped a box of sketchy reloads through it. Ammo looked like it came out of a rusty coffee can. Still ran, not a hiccup. That rental Glock had eaten more garbage than a stray dog behind a Taco Bell. No cleaning, no respect, just abuse stacked on abuse. And somehow, it still barked every time you pulled that trigger. That's the Glock 17 story. Not the shiny safe queen, not the Instagram Gucci build. It's the beat to hell everyone's abused rental gun that just refuses to die. You want to know why the Glock 17 is still king? Because even the trashiest one out there will still outlive half the fancy guns in your safe. For years, HK fans begged for a micro-compact double stack, and for years, HK basically told everyone to pound sand. They were the kings of heavy, overbuilt pistols, the kind that feel like boat anchors but run forever. Nobody expected them to finally play the carry game. Then the CC9 showed up. I first ran one at the range with a group that didn't believe it either. We lined it up next to Hellcats, P365s, and Shields. Everyone was ready to clown it. HK finally went plastic fantastic, someone joked. But when the drill started, the laughs stopped right there. That little thing ran like an HK should. Smooth cycling, controlled recoil, and it felt tougher than the rest. I watched guys dump mag after mag of mixed ammo, and the CC9 didn't care. No stutters, no surprises. And the grip? It didn't punish you like some of the micros that feel like you're holding a stapler on rapid fire. What hit hardest wasn't just that HK made it, it's that they made it this good right out of the gate. They skipped the drama, skipped the recalls, and dropped a carry gun that punched straight into the top tier. The CC9 isn't hype. It's HK finally saying, fine, here's your micro, and it's better than you thought we'd make it. Yeah, I know. The Glock 42 isn't even a 9mm. It's a 380, and I can already hear the keyboard warriors smashing their keys. But listen up, this little thing earned a seat at the table. I borrowed one from a buddy at the range just to laugh at it. Tiny frame, looks like a toy Glock you'd win out of a draw machine. I figured it'd jam halfway through the first mag and prove my point. Instead, it ran. And it didn't just run, it was stupid easy to shoot. Recoil barely existed, follow-up snapped fast, and it punched tighter groups than some serious micro 9s on the line that day. Watching my buddy's Hellcat Pro choke on reloads while this little pop gun kept humming made me hate how much fun I was having. Is it the king of carry guns? Hell no. But as a backup piece, glove box gun, or just a pistol that refuses to quit looking like a toy, the Glock 43 sneaks onto this list whether you like it or not. You know what? This whole list pissed me off. I walked in thinking I knew exactly which guns would earn a spot, and half of them just ended up embarrassing me. The Taurus that shouldn't work, the CZ that turned carry into a circus act, and then HK of all people finally dropping a micro that actually runs? Yeah, 2025's been weird. And here's the truth. Some of you are already mad. I can hear it already. Steve, you forgot this gun. Steve, you're full of crap. Well, good. That means you're awake. So here's what I want you to do. Tell me which pistol from this list you trust and which one you throw in the ditch. No sugarcoating, please. I'll read every single one. This has been Steve, and if you've made it this far, you're either grinning or you're fuming. Either way, I win.